Started part some of my video with talking about how Melvin becomes a toxic Avenger due to a prank gone bad in which he falls into a barrel of toxic waste. And um, what ends up happening is Melvin becomes a buff, grotesque creature-like superhero who gets dubbed the Toxic Avenger. And what ends up happening is he goes on a rampage to get revenge. He goes after the people who pulled a prank on him, which caused him to die. And then ends up becoming a true hero after saving Tromaville from evil. And which he ends up falling in love with a blind woman named Claire. This first Toxic Avenger film for me gets a 5 stars as a whole. I'll give it a 5 stars for hilariously goofy, cheesy acting, a 5 stars for it being original, and a 4 stars for special effects. Now on to the Toxic Avenger 2, which a lot of people called the second and third film to the Toxic Avenger the worst sequels ever made. But I kind of liked all 4 Toxic Avenger films. Toxic Avenger 2 is about an evil corporation that breaks the peace after years of peace and crime-free in Tromaville. They force a Toxic Avenger to do what he does best, tear bad guys apart, with even more outlandish kill scenes, including a man with his head recently torn off, dancing around, and goofy villains, other goofy villains, a cross-dressing villain, a midget villain, whom Toxie crushes into a ball and uses him for basketball practice. The evil corporation creates a plan B, manipulating Toxie into thinking that his father is in Japan. And while Toxie's in Japan, supposedly reunited with his supposed father, Tromaville has been taken over by the evil corporation. This one for me gets a 4-star rating as a whole, a 3-star rating for originality, a 5-star rating for goofy acting. The Toxic Avenger 3, and now, I'm going to go on to Toxic Avenger 3. In this one, the Toxic Avenger 3, what happens is the evil corporation from the second film manages to manipulate the Toxic Avenger into working for them. He takes the bait, but eventually realizes that he signed a deal with Satan himself. This one for me gets a 3-star rating as a whole, a 2-star rating for the worst goofy acting in the entire franchise, and a 4-star rating for originality. Now on to Toxic Avenger 4, which is funnier than any of these Toxic Avenger movies. In this one, when Toxic Avenger's sidekick Lardass is killed helping Toxie save a school of retards from an all-new enemy, a group of diaper-wearing drug addicts. After Lardass is killed in battle, Toxie is joined by Sergeant Kabuki Man, who becomes his new partner. And when an imposter begins to kill innocent people, which looks exactly like the Toxic Avenger is framed for murdering innocent people, which it's up to Sergeant Kabuki Man and Toxic Avenger, the real Toxic Avenger, to prove Toxie's innocence. I give this film a 5-star as a whole. The cheesy acting I really loved in this one, which gets a 5-star rating. The hilariously great death scenes, a 5-star rating, and original aspect of the film, I'll give a 5-star rating. Now on to my next movie, which is Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD. In this film, you are introduced to the man whom becomes Sergeant Kabuki Man, a cop